Welcome to On the Couch. I'm Maria Valaskatzis.
And I'm Kundai Vera.
And today we're shooting from this beautiful location, Marigold Restaurant in Belito.
KwaZulu-Natal makes the best chow.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, boy.
What are we known for?
The beach, women, and food.
Bunny chows.
Are you talking about food?
Yeah.
Bunny chow, biryani.
Bunny chow biryani.
Yeah. And
I haven't seen you eat
curry.
Curry, yes. Durban curry.
Like
We're
everyone
also
comes
known
to
up for
Durban
Durban
and one
poison.
We don't talk about that on this show
Why?
because there's kids watching.
No, but it's legal now.
That doesn't make it any more better for kids.
Anyway, so today we're talking about private schools versus homeschooling versus government schooling. That was a mouthful.
That is very interesting how we moved from Durban poison to to schools. I'm just like,
It's a talent.
wow.
Let's call it talent.
So, I've experienced all of them.
Yes.
Right? So I've been to private schools, I've been to government schools, and I've been to semi-private schools. And I've sent my kids to semi-private and government schools. So I have quite a vast experience. I've also been to like 10 different schools my whole life. So yeah, I've been to Afrikaans
Like one
schools,
school every grade.
pretty much.
Grade 1, this school. Grade 2, this school. You were like always getting to reinvent yourself. You know what the thing is? Okay. Private schools generally have a smaller capacity. Sometimes, okay? So for instance, where you would go into a government school, and I don't know, it's like 40, 50 kids in a classroom to one teacher. Here you have maybe 15 kids to one teacher.
But it's more than that. Specifically talking about what kids are going through now. The private school kids are not always in the actual school.
Yes, so they have other facilities like your online learning and they are more digitally inclined than a government school. And remember, a lot of government schools are in rural areas where maybe the internet connection is not as fantastic as one would expect in a suburb. You know?
Well, there's that, and then there's also the ability for the parents or the kids to be able to have access financially to getting like a tablet or a laptop and the internet. And so like, as much as you may have the internet at home because your family has the means and you're in a government school, the other kids don't.
Yeah.
So it's unfair in that scenario to be like, okay, we all must do online learning now, but the teachers don't even have internet at home. And who's paying for all of that? You know what I'm saying?
The one thing that I know is that, you know, when you pay the 100,000 Rand to go to a private college or a private school, you know that there's going to be textbooks that are not torn and that sort of thing. Your kids are going to be in a classroom that has an aircon, there's a roof over their head, there's clean toilets, there's running water, there's all of those things. Sometimes, you know, government schools, and not all of them.
Some of them are amazing.
Some of them are amazing, they're beautiful and that sort of thing. But there are those government schools that pull the entire concept of being in a government school down. Because, I mean, you watch docies in South Africa about education and that sort of thing, where textbooks don't reach the kids on time. They don't have stationery. There's kids in a small classroom kind of sitting on, you know, trying.
There are schools who don't even have a library, let alone have a computer room.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you can't compare the two. It's not fair to those kids who can't even get books.
Yes. I then jump on to the other point that I'd like to make is that when government tries to add facilities to schools and then suddenly there's a strike or a boycott of some sort, the students go and burn the school down.
So what's the point?
So then the question is, why are they spending the money? And probably the government is saying, well, we've just built classrooms and now 6 months later it's burnt down. Why go back?
It's a very what's that word I'm looking?
touch and go situation.
Yeah, it's so difficult to address it because, fine, yes, there are grievances that the communities have, right? And they need those grievances heard. And sometimes it's to the point where the government or people in the school themselves are abusing kids,
Yes.
right? And we've seen this.
But that happens in all areas. Private school,
Yes.
government school, even homeschooling.
Yeah.
You know, so that unfortunately is a societal issue that we can't really shun away from. It's glaring at us constantly. But you know, teachers
Teachers have it the hardest, I feel.
teachers are fundamental aspect to the growth of those little minds. If a teacher is respectful to their children, if the teacher wants to or has a passion to teach these kids, the kids will learn. And I see it with my own son. When a teacher brings himself to my son's level, when he speaks the way the kids want him to speak, he suddenly now is getting A's. Why? Because the teacher is now suddenly a friend. Okay, he's enjoying being at that class. He wants to impress his teacher. He wants to make sure that, you know, his teacher picks him out and says, "Well done, Alex," you know? And then he's been in classes where I know he's fantastic, but he just does not perform. And it boils down to the teacher.
So, do you think maybe it's important that, besides the government providing facilities, that they take care of our teachers? Because if our teachers are happy, they will treat the children.
Yes. And also, you know, teachers should have a qualification.
Yes.
Okay, don't just bring people off the street because you know someone who knows someone who.
That's actually not I don't feel like that's the problem. So, I know a lot of people who are qualified teachers,
Yes.
but can't get a job.
Yes, they can't.
What does that mean? How does that work? Where we have a shortage of teachers, same thing with nurses for some reason, I don't know why. We have all these people who are trained, but they can't get jobs.
Yeah, and what happens? We get sucked out. All our talent, all our education gets sucked out of the country and goes to enrich another country. And that's what is happening, you know?
Actually, a friend of mine is going to China to teach.
Yes, I know a lot of people that have gone to China to teach,
Korea and Saudi.
and yet you think, why aren't we appreciating these people here? Okay, homeschooling. One, I'll tell you now,
It's cheaper,
it's cheaper.
very much so.
I do believe that you need to have a certain temperament to be able to do this.
You know, you need a tutor. You can't do it as a parent. Don't think because you know a parent and you're a bit smart that you can just homeschool. No, get a tutor who does just that.
And that's a full-time job.
A full-time job. Don't try and do it as a parent. You can't. Maybe you can, but it's good. No,
I can't.
I can't.
I can't, I will be in jail. There will be somebody else here on this couch.
I've been teaching my kids like one subject, and then I found a cheat, and now no, don't do it.
No, I can't. I lose my hair. Like, I brush my hair, all my hair's on my hairbrush because I've just lost it.
What I appreciate about homeschool is I don't have to pay for school uniform. I don't have to pay for aftercare. I don't have to pay exorbitant school fees. I don't have to
No
pay
traffic.
no traffic in the morning. There's no cake sale, big sale. All of a sudden, my kids, we have a tuck shop in the house. They buy every snack they eat.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I'm going to have to start that little rule at home because
it makes them more conscious about what they're eating.
and more conscious and aware about the value of money. You know, if you spend your allowance, there's no more money to buy, and then you're going to have to wait until the end of the month to get
So
that
if you keep buying the box of Smarties, you're not going to have money after the first week.
again. No.
Buy the apple. Buy the apple. Apple's cheaper. Have a Smarties on the Friday.
Yeah, so, you know, in conclusion, I think every aspect, whether it's private, government, or homeschooling, has its pros and cons. Okay, not one is better than the other.
Yes.
Two, I think that we need to start putting the onus on our kids and teaching them that what they put in is what they're going to get out.
What they get out. And also, as parents, we need to take responsibility and not expect someone else to always do. Because one thing I know me and you both do, we don't rely on the school to educate our children only.
No.
Take the time and find out what your child is struggling with.
Yes.
Take the time to help them read. I mean, last year my daughter couldn't read.
Yeah.
This last week, she comes and she starts reading constitutional independence and referendum.
How wonderful. That's amazing.
From a 7-year-old.
Yeah. So I personally do not think that just because you're paying 100,000 Rand means that your child is getting a better education. I know of students that have been to government schools that have not had electricity in their house, but just had the ambition and the drive to want better in life. And that is what we need to instill in our children. The drive, ambition, the hard work. Because I think children today don't know what hard work is. We're so ready to give them everything because we think we didn't have it in our life, so we must give it to them. And as a result, they don't know what hard work is.
Teach your kids the value of money and the value of education. Because those two things, if you understand the value of those, you'll go far in life.
That's it. So we'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.